think we're going to start recording the screen. So for one to understand Turtle, there is two ways of, for one to use Turtle, there are two ways of doing it. One is the procedural programming, where you write a bunch of functions, and that has some capabilities. But the other and a more useful way of doing it is using object-oriented programming. And one needs to know classes and objects so that you understand what's going on when you write the code. Okay? You don't have to become an expert in it, but at least you should know that classes and objects exist. Okay? So here's the first program, turtle1.py. The first two lines you already know. You have done the import time before, and now we are importing Turtle. And Turtle is a module that comes inbuilt with Python, so that people, especially for people who are just learning Python, will have something fun to do, where they can draw something graphical and enjoy how it looks. We are going to use few functions from this particular module, Turtle module. The first one is called forward. So if, let's say, the turtle always is positioned at the center of the window. Okay. When you say forward 50, it's going to move by 50 pixels in the direction in which it is facing. Okay. Then I'm saying sleep for 0.5 seconds. Then sleep for 0.5 seconds, so that if you don't ask it to sleep, the whole box will be drawn so quick that you wouldn't even have an idea of how fast it drew or what it did. Okay. So that's why I put a sleep for 0.5 seconds. Then I'm saying turn left by 90 degrees. Okay. So if assuming it is pointed facing east, so when you say forward 50, it will move 50 pixels to the direction of the east or to the right. And then you say turn to the left, so it will now point to the direction north upwards. And then you are saying move forward by 50. And then again sleep for 0.5 seconds. Then turn left, which means now it's pointing towards west, and you're asking it to move forward by 50, which means it's going to go further to the west. And then again turn left by 90, which means it's now pointing south. And you're asking it to move forward by 50, so now it's back at the point where it left. And you're asking it to sleep for 0.5 seconds, then turn left by 90 degrees. So now it's facing the original direction at which it started. Okay. Now once you're done with all these, the done basically will ensure that everything gets closed and Turtle doesn't throw any error message. Okay. So I'm going to run this code, and it looks like the better way, at least for few people, it seems to work only with the terminal. So I'm going to show it with the terminal.
I'm not able to type.
Sorry?
I'm not able to type.
I'll come back. I'll come there in a second and we can take a look at it. Let me see where did I put my thing. Okay, so it's basic Python latest Turtle. Python /latest notes. See Turtle. So I have all my code here. If you see, there is turtle1.py, there is turtle2.py, turtle3, turtle4, turtle5, etc. Okay. So to run the code, I'm going to type python turtle1.py. Okay. So in real world, most of the time you end up running code like this. Okay. You might not be inside IDE like Canopy or maybe an IDE like PyCharm. You might just run it from the command line. Okay. So it's important to learn how to run one. So I'm going to go ahead and type python turtle1.py. I press enter. Now Turtle is running in the background. It's already done. It's too fast. Just set this aside. This. So the 0.5 seconds allowed us to actually visualize the actual turn and movement of the thing. Okay. So now I want you guys to modify this code so that you can actually draw a rectangle of side 100 by 50. Instead of 50 by 50, it needs to be 100 by 50. Oh, no, you have to go type CMD.
lowercase. So
She's been a lot.
so yeah. So in dir. So cd space basic tab. It'll automatically fill it for center. Then cd tab. Lowercase.
Save the file name first.
So you have to go CD to the direct.
And now you can type Python.
To save the Python file that you have changed.
I haven't changed it. I cannot see the original.
See here, what happens is if you see a star.
So this is how most of the time you end up running.
Still.
And once you start writing big ones, you'll find this one. That way it throws a lot of outputs, and you can see all that in the screen, and you can go up and down, see what outputs it's generating.
Oh, you have to CD to the directory. I will do it.
Okay.
CD. You have the notes on the desktop or there is basic.
Now modify this rectangle so that its side is 100 by 50 instead of 50 by 50.
I think it is in this stuff. It's in documents.
I think in her case it's documents.
Oh, then
I think
let's
she
go
can-
to CD documents. CD space. Just press tab.
Where I type it?
Sorry?
Where I type it? Oh, to type the code. So I would say use the editor. You can close this window because you don't need this. Use the Canopy editor.
B capital BSS.
You can write your code
Yeah,
here.
and then auto type.
Like for example, open terminal 1. File open terminal 1.
CD. Oh no, not CD. Python terminal 1.
And here you can modify it and rerun. You modify it here, save it, go to command line and run it. So you just copy it. You don't have to copy this, so go up.
Yeah, keep going.
Type Python space to it. No, there's no typing. Python is the
Just
thing
don't
that
close the
is
terminal
and
yet.
then you space.
You know, use it for all
Terminal.
projects.
Now it's running. Now you have to modify the code. You
Oh.
can save it and come back and run it.
Did you guys get it?
This is.
Oh, okay.
We already.
How do you say execute the last command?
Okay.
The up ass.
Up arrow.
Okay,
And
got
then
it,
every time
got it.
So,
we use from.
oh, okay, from the command line. Okay.
Yeah.
We just wrote one to like check them out.
Oh, I thought you
It's
just.
like celebrity.
Oh, I thought you just.
No, in fact, a lot of pops, so only a small percentage of tile for whether you're burning most of tile for photo failure. So there was a headline saying
How is it coming along?
like,
You got it? 150.
go check it, support burning but vote for
Actually, you got it? You got it? Okay. Cool. So that change would be something like this. I just changed line number 11 from 50 to 100. So the next one I left as it is and changed this from 50 to 100. So which means along the horizontal direction it's going to be length of 100. Along the vertical direction it's going to be a length of 50. Okay. And I configured my computer so that I can run it with Apple R. But in your case, you will have to go to the command line and run it. Or I can run it from command line also. Okay, let's run it from the command line. So I have python turtle1.py, I press enter. Oops, sorry. What the hell is going on here? I have one drawing still. Okay. Okay. Alright, so the second one is going to be is going to draw 3 rectangles. It's okay. It draws 3 rectangles, but the idea is exactly the same, very similar to what we have learned previously. Oh, sorry, 3 squares, but rectangle is also a type of square. Or square is a type of rectangle. So we are saying that first turn left by 20 degrees, and then the rest of the piece of code from 5 to 12 is pretty similar to the one of the previous ones, except that since we initially said turn left by 20 degrees, the square is going to be a little bit tilted. It's not going to be a horizontal square. Then in line number 14 we are saying we are going to start drawing the second rectangle, but this time I want you to turn left by 30 degrees, so it's going to be even more inclined. And then in line number 25 we are saying we are going to start the third rectangle, and that rectangle should be inclined at angle of 40. Okay, so when I run this, I just have to change it from turtle1.py to turtle2.py, and then I press enter, and then it's going to draw a rectangle like that. Okay. So we started with 20 degree inclination, then it's 30, so that means total of 50, and then we ended up with an angle of another 40, which means the total is now 90. So that's why the last rectangle is actually proper square, horizontally oriented. Okay. Any question about this? All right. I'll go to turtle4.py and then I'll come to turtle3. Okay. All right. So we so far saw left, right, and move forward. Those are the 3 things we saw. So in this one, we are going to see one more, which is pen up. If normally a turtle, the pen is always down, which means when it's moving forward, it's going to draw a line as it moves forward. Okay. But what if you want it to move forward, but you don't want it to draw a line? In that case, you have to tell it, move the pen up and then move. Okay. So it's like saying, it's like a pen that's touching the ground and you're telling it, move the pen up so that when you move, you don't draw a line on the ground. Okay, that's essentially what we're going to do. So in this code, we are saying turtle.pen up, which means it's going to lift the pen. Then we are going to sleep for 1 second. That's a little longer, but it gives you some sense of what it's doing. Then we are saying turtle.forward of 100, which means it's going to move 100 steps in the direction in which it's facing, but it's not going to draw a line on the screen. Okay. Then we are going to ask it to sleep again, and now we are asking it to put the pen down. And then we are going to saying time.sleep of 1 second, and then if you click on the last command which says exit on click, which means if you click on the window, the whole thing will close. Okay, it'll close, it'll clear up everything, and then it'll close nicely. Okay, so let's run this Python turtle4.py. If you notice, it is too fast, so it's kind of hard to notice early. I'm going to run again. Did you see that? The turtle was at one point, and then it moved to the next point, but didn't actually draw a line. Okay. And when I click inside the window, click anywhere in this window, it will close it. Okay. So it cleans up everything and then it closes it. Okay. And here I have a pen down, but I'm not actually drawing anything after that. So that's why you don't see anything in the screen. But as you can imagine, you can draw anything you want. Or you can take the triangle code or the rectangle that we drew earlier. You can paste it after pen down and it will work. Okay. Any question about that?
Can you put it like after the pen down? Can you draw a line?
Yeah. Move forward by some steps.
7 steps.
That'll be too short. Maybe 70 steps. Move forward by 70 steps, run the code and make sure that it's working. And then I'll talk about one more thing before we go to the next example.
I remove this.
Did you get it? What about you? Okay. So the next, before I go forward. So this module, turtle, or this file turtle.py, basically has all these methods like pen up, forward, pen down, left, right, etc. Okay. But now we are going to see a different way of doing the same thing. Okay. So here in turtle 4.py or turtle 1 and turtle 2, we just call the module dot some method. Okay. So that's what we did. And we're calling a function, so this kind of writing a code is generally called a procedural programming. You call one procedure after the other and you're getting your work done. In the next example, we are going to see object-oriented programming using turtle. Okay. You actually are not going to define the class because that's already defined by whoever wrote the turtle module, but you're just going to create an instance of the class called an object, and you're going to manipulate that object as you need to. Okay. So in this, we're going to actually we're going to create two objects. The first object that we are going to create is a turtle screen. Okay. That window that you see is called a screen. Okay. So we are going to create this turtle screen as the first thing, and that's an object. So the wn is an object. The turtle.screen is a class. Okay. And then on this object wn, we can now modify its property. If you remember, we had b.name and b.set balance, b.balance. Similarly, the wn object has methods like wn.bgcolor, where you can specify a color, and that color will be the background color for your window. Okay. And then you have wn.title, which will be the title for the given screen. wn. Okay. And there are many other properties.
So turtle.screen is a class.
Is a class, correct? And wn is an object. Okay, it's an instance of that class called screen. Does it make sense? So the turtle is a module, screen is a class, an instance of the screen class is wn, which is an object, also called as instance. Okay. And this instance will have n number of functions and n number of variables. And we are using two of the functions. The first one is bgcolor, which changes the background color of the window or the screen. And the second one changes the title. So if you want, you can modify the title to something else, and then you can see how it looks on the screen. Okay. Now, in line number 10, we are going to create an instance of a turtle class, and we are calling it A. Okay. So the turtle module has a class called turtle, and we are going to create an instance of it, and we are going to store it under the variable called A. Okay. And on that variable, we are going to use first we are going to use two functions. The first one is called color, where we are saying the color has to be red, and the size of the pen has to be 10. Okay. And this is one of the reasons when you look at this code, you can actually it's not because turtle is meant for initial or basic learners, but the fact that the language can be expressed so nicely, it makes Python more powerful. Okay. You don't need to read a documentation to figure out the pen size is the size of the pen or size of the line that you're drawing. Okay. And line number 14, I'm saying move forward by 50 steps, which means the turtle that we just created, A, is going to move forward by 50 steps. And then it's going to turn left by 120 degrees, and then it's going to move by 50 degrees again. Okay. And then it will stay like that until you click inside the window, in which case it will just disappear. So I'm going to run turtle3.py. As you can see, the background color, we said it's supposed to be light green, and it is light green. Oops. And it is light green. Okay. And then we said the pen color was red, so that's why the line is all red color. And we said the pen size is 10, so that's why the line is thicker. Typically, the pen size is only 1, a default is 1, which means it will be a really thin line. Now we have a thicker line. Yeah. Any question about that? Okay. I want you guys to take the code that the first one that we wrote, turtle1.py, and put it in after line 17, for example, and maybe even modify before you draw that square. Okay. So when you notice at line number 16, what is the thickness of the pen? 10, correct. So it's just a thickness, it's a property of that particular object. You can always modify it. So in line number 17, you can just go in and say a.pen size, I want it to be something else. And then you can ask it to draw a square. Okay. And you will have the two lines that you drew before, and then another square also that goes along with it. A square will be of different pen size, and this will be a different pen size. You can also change the color, all the properties that you want to change.
I closed the last file. I can't open the Turtle 3 again. Where is that editor?
Let's see.
I use this one and I can't.
Oh, that's let's open.
Oh, for your company. Well, the problem is people are going to have a hard time spelling it, so nothing knows. When they read it, they understand it, but when they see it, they don't necessarily
But
understand.
what do you want us to do?
So what I want you to do is,
if they hear it,
just like I
they
changed
try
the
to
pen
write
size
it.
to 10, you can change the pen size to something else here. Okay. And then maybe change the color or any other property that you want to change, and then you draw a
But how
square
do parents?
using the similar to the code that you wrote in Turtle
No. Everybody's into like.
And now you will see two lines that are really thick, red in color, and a square in a different color and different thickness.
That's better.
Yeah. Is it coming along good? Any question? Oh. Ah, so if you move like this, and then pen up and then move again. Yeah, yeah.